WeatherTech Sports Car Championship on IMSA Radio.
Hello everybody and welcome to the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship as we're ready to set the grid for tomorrow's Michelin GT Challenge at VIR. I'm John Hindhoff and alongside me in the booth is Jeremy Shaw. Shea Adam is down on the pit lane. A beautiful afternoon with the track temperature 38 Celsius. That is spot on 100 Fahrenheit. 95 in the air is 35, but it's a sticky 35. Good afternoon, Shea Adam. A sticky 52% by the way out there. Good afternoon, Shea Adam.
Good afternoon, John. And the track temp, a mere 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is quite toasty out here on the pit lane where we have 19 cars getting ready to go out for a single 15-minute qualifying session. Our drivers today, I'll start with GTD. Number 97, Turner Motorsport BMW, is Chandler Hull behind the wheel. And the 96, which was a car that was very quick last year, fastest lap of the race, went to Robin Foley. Well, it's Patrick Gallagher doing the qualifying for them. For the two Kelly Moss with Riley Porsches, we've got David Bruley in the 92 and Alan Metney in the 91. Sticking with Porsches in the number 80, that's AO Racing Roxy this weekend because she's pink. It is PJ Hyatt. In the number 78, this is the Lamborghini. This is a change. We do not have Misha Goikberg. We have Loris Spinelli qualifying, and Loris already got a pole position earlier this year at Watkins Glen. For the last of our Porsches, well, I shouldn't say last, but the final of our Porsches in this rundown, Alan Brynjolfsson is doing the qualifying for the bright yellow Volt Wright Motorsport Porsche. We've got in the number 70, this is the Inception Racing McLaren. Last time out, Brendan Arieb qualified the car second. He's going for that once again. Sheena Monk will be behind the wheel of the Gradient Racing Acura. We've got Russell, last year's pole sitter and race winner, driving in the number 57 Windward Racing Mercedes. The other Mercedes in the GTD class is Team Cawthorne. That is Mike Skeen looking for his second pole position of the year. For the Heart of Racing Aston Martin, Roman DeAngelis will be piloting the number 27. The sister car, the number 23, has Ross Gunn, the record holder in just about every single class that IMSA races at VIR. For the number 12, Vassar Sullivan Lexus, again, this is the non-pro car, that is Frankie Montecalvo. The pro version has Jack Hawksworth behind the wheel in the 14. And the final of our GTD cars, that would be the championship leader in both the overall and the sprint, it's Madison Snow going for his second consecutive poles. Now, to round out the other cars in GTD Pro, for WeatherTech Racing, that is Danny Juncadella, who should be doing the qualifying duties for that Mercedes. We've got Patrick Pile ready to try and take a pole for Pfaff Motorsports and their Porsche. And last but certainly not least, Evergreen Garcia. Antonio Garcia, the King of Spain, is going out for Corvette Racing to try and get a pole position.
Thank you, Shea. Shea will be talking to our two pole sitters in round about 20 minutes' time. We've got a couple of minutes before the green flag. If you're joining us here on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV, thank you very much indeed. Coming up to 8:45 8:45 in the UK, 9:10 in Europe. Don't forget, we've got racing today as well. Also live in Sound and Vision Michelin Pilot Challenge to come with the Virginia is for Racing Lovers at 2:40, coming at 1:20, excuse me, coming up. I could extend it to a 4-hour race. I'm sure nobody would mind, certainly not the spectators here. But we are setting the grid for tomorrow's Michelin GT Challenge at VIR. And all 19 cars will go out together. Jeremy Shaw, this is going to be absolutely epic. We've had just about 2 seconds separating the whole grid. We've had under half a second separating the top 6 or 7 in the early practice sessions. The story so far has had some problems for the AMG Mercedes of WeatherTech. They had a nasty fire, but the car's been rebuilt. But generally speaking, it's been a pretty, other than that, that was a nasty moment, but generally speaking, it's been a pretty clean couple of practice sessions, and the cars have been getting quicker and quicker.
They certainly have. The fastest session of the day was the last, most recent one, where the top 4, which is 4 different makes of car, all covered by almost exactly 1/10 of a second. It was the Mercedes of Danny Juncadella, who was fastest overall for WeatherTech Racing, car number 79. Jack Hawksworth second in the Vassar Sullivan number 14 Lexus. And in third position was Antonio Garcia in that Corvette car number 3. All three running a GTD Pro, but Madison Snow was right with them as well in that Paul Miller Racing BMW car number 1 that leads the championship pretty convincingly, having had 4 wins on the season already.
Now, I'm right in saying, aren't I, that everyone is going out together here?
Yes.
Because there's a few cars that haven't yet moved. Looks like Mike Skeen hasn't moved yet for Team Korthoff Motorsports, and Patrick Gallagher for the yellow and blue, the standard Turner colours in BMW. Outgoing outgoing the Volt, Alan Brynjolfsson, driven Wright Motorsport Porsche. And I haven't seen Russell Ward at pit out yet either for Winward Racing. My tracker and my eyes can tell me that it is Antonio Garcia who has got out first and is heading up the hill now towards turns 9 and 10 at the top of the climbing S's. And both Lexus still in the pit lane. Not unusual for them, that, Jeremy. They tend to let everybody do a couple of laps and then come out, ideally trying to hit a soft spot in the traffic.
Yeah, or get a little bit more rubber laid down, conceivably as well. But primarily, making sure they have clear track out there, because there's only 19 cars, which on a 3¼ mile track, 3.27 miles around here. Yeah, there should be plenty of space available. But if you're all going out in a knot all together, then chances are you're going to get hauled up. And the Corvette is also one of the cars that often lags behind a little bit, but they've elected to go out right away, perhaps thinking it's not going to get any cooler this afternoon, only going to get hotter, in which case they get out there early and try and get their lap time in, perhaps.
Actually, now that you've said that, that makes perfect sense to me, Jeremy. Go and get a job as a team strategist straight away. Madison Snow has gone out to qualify as well. There's a wee knot of cars going down to the horseshoe now, which includes that number 3 Corvette and Madison Snow. In between them is the Patrick Pile-driven Pfaff Motorsport car. Shea Adam has a pit caller, which is unusual, because if you've got any problems in qualifying, Shea, for the GT classes at least, there's absolutely nothing you can do.
Once you leave the pit lane, if you touch the car, you are done qualifying. If you plan to go back out, you can't do that. And if you have already set a time, you lose all the times that you've set. The car is sitting very patiently. Danny's actually turned the car back off. I'm wondering if they're going to try and cool something down or wait for a bit of space. I feel like they've done this once before this year, but I can't remember where.
That was the number 79 car that Shea was talking about, the WeatherTech car.
Yeah, and the Corvette there of Antonio Garcia letting a couple of cars go past him going up the hill there. The Pfaff Motorsports Porsche, Patrick Pile at the wheel of that car, surprisingly. It's generally Klaus Bachler who qualifies the number 9 Pfaff car, but that's the team that's looking for a hat-trick of wins here at Virginia International Raceway. So I guess Patrick Pile has been, they've been alternating the qualifying duties there, beg your pardon. Yeah, because he qualified at Lime Rock, Klaus Bachler qualified at CTMP and at Road America. So yeah, they've been alternating back and forth. It's Patrick Pile who gets the opportunity to qualify that number 9 car here this afternoon, and he's the first guy to set a lap time, not close to competitive yet. 47 was the first flying lap there for Patrick Pile. The fastest time this morning was a 1:44.539 by Danny Junqueira in that number 79 car. The lap record is in the 43s. Last year, the pole position was set by Ross Gunn in the Aston Martin, a 43.953. That is the record for GTD Pro, because that was the first year for GTD Pro.
Yeah.
But in GTD, he actually went quicker the previous year, also in Aston Martin in the GTD class at a 1:43.3. So that is the ultimate fastest time we've seen for a GTD car around VIR. But I wouldn't expect, as hot as it is now, to be approaching those times this afternoon.
Little off for the number 70 McLaren at the first corner, Brendan Erib, but he has continued. Qualifying records, Jeremy, what are we looking at for that?
Yeah, just talked about that. The 43.9 was the fastest time.
Yes, of course.
That was set last year by Ross Gunn.
Yeah, indeed. So.
And the pole for non-pro last year was a 45.0. That was Russell Ward, which wasn't a record, but that was the pole time from 1 year ago. I think that 45.0, I mean, that is probably under threat this afternoon, even as hot as it is. It's not a record, but it's. I think we're probably going to go quicker than that.
Don't expect to see that done in the first couple of laps, although Russell Ward and Patrick Pilet is down to a 46.3 already on what effectively is only his second flying lap. He just took it easy. Brendan Erib actually went a little bit further off than I thought. I did see he'd been offered at turn 1 and rejoined, but actually he went a little further off into the dust. Little ambitious with how late he left his braking for the right-hander at the horseshoe. The good news for everybody is it is exceptionally dry. Getting back up that little rise on slick Michelin racing tyres if the grass is wet, well, we've seen it before, sometimes it just can't be done. And it looks ridiculous that professional drivers can't get a car up a little grassy slope. It is so frustrating for everybody concerned. But sometimes you just can't do it. There's a couple of places at this circuit actually where the racetrack is raised. Notably, it's where the Lamborghini is coming to now at the chicane, the left hook at turns 4A and 4B. If you go off at 4B, the right-hander, and then have to turn round and come back up a moderate hill, I would say, but it does look absolutely ridiculous when the slick tyres on the damp can't get any purchase, and you sort of head in hands moment for everybody concerned. Normally brings out a red flag or a safety car if that happens. We are nearly halfway through. In fact, we are halfway through this session, and Laura Spinelli, 440 in the Arrow Lamborghini, has the fastest lap for the GTDs with a 1:45.7, 1:46 for Patrick Pilet. In the FAF Motorsports. I'll say it again if you're just joining us, as we're in sound and vision on the World Feed TV. No blocks, no breaks, no interruptions, no subscriptions here either, of course. These cars, in terms of their balance of performance, it's the drivers who are the performance determinators. So if you have two Lexus, for example, which we do, they are both works cars, they are both entered by the manufacturer. One is in GTD and one is in GTD Pro. There is, Jeremy, absolutely no reason why either of those cars should be quicker or slower than the other than the nuts behind the wheel. It is literally down to driver performance. Yeah, true that. I mean, not officially to factory cars are run by Vassar Sullivan Racing, which is certainly has close ties with the Lexus Toyota family, no doubt about that. But you're right, that there's absolutely no reason why one car should be quicker than the other. Madison Snow has done a really good lap to be top of the charts at the moment. 1:45.352 for Madison. So within about 8/10 of what he managed earlier on today in FP2, and it was actually quicker than he went yesterday in the first practice session. So he's on with the case. He's just Nat's whisker ahead of Aaron Tielitz at the moment in number 12 Vassar Sullivan Lexus. Laura Spinelli in third position, just over 1/10 of a second behind those two. Now's the time, I think. Under 6 minutes to go. A little bit of VP racing fuel burnt off. Michelin's coming up with temperature and pressure. The art of the pit lane crew is to get those starting pressures right, and that comes down to the track, how abrasive it is, what your car is doing, how hard that is on your tyres, how hard your driver is on your tyres, and of course the temperatures out there. And it is really an art, because you want your cars coming in and the tyres coming in to temperature and therefore pressure right at the point where your driver thinks they can get the best out of it. Big moment coming out of Oak Tree for the green mirrored Lexus. That then is Aaron Tielitz, currently in third position. Antonio Garcia's got to the top with the 45.1. Madison Snow backing up his phenomenal time early early on in the session this afternoon, Jeremy, with a 45.2 is top of the pops as far as GTD's concerned, and just on a 10th behind Antonio Garcia in the Corvette.
That's right, the Corvette leads the way at the moment, and 145.133 and 145.2 for Madison Snow, 145.3 for Aaron Thielitz. And that moment at the exit of Oaktree cost him just a little bit. He does not improve on that lap. He's about just over a tenth of a second slower than his previous lap, was Aaron Thielitz, so no improvement there. The other guy is on a really good lap, though, is Jack Hawksworth, who I think was one of the last cars to go out. Maybe he was behind, Mike Skeen might have been behind him in a team call-off Mercedes, but Jack Hawksworth is bottom of the charts at the moment, but on a really good lap in car number 14, purple in sectors 1 and 2, as Ben Barnicoat looks on in the pit lane. Danny Juncadella to the top by less than a tenth of a second for WeatherTech Racing and number 79 Mercedes. Briefly. Because Jack Hawksworth just got across the line. 144.780 is the new benchmark time for the Englishman in car number 14. That 144.78 is just a couple of tenths of a second away from the best lap this morning, and it's a good bit hotter, bit warmer. I think even it was pretty warm this morning, but it's hotter again now. That's a good lap for Jack Hawksworth. Looking for his potentially third pole of the season in the championship leading car.
Off for the blue and yellow BMW. That is the Turner car, and a little bit of a wiggle coming out of Oak Tree. Now the 96, driven at the moment by Patrick Gallagher for Turner Motorsport, the BMW M4 GT3. Get that the right way around. Just at the top of the roller coaster.
Yeah, Patrick Gallagher fifth at the moment in GTD.
I think he just overcooked it coming through the second part of the
the
first part rather of the Oak Tree bend. We've seen a few people do that.
Yeah.
What we have seen though this year, Jeremy, in stark contrast to other years where people have done exactly the same and just ran a little deep into the first part of the right-hander turn 11, it's called, but effectively it's the first part of the Oak Tree double right. Getting onto the grass and the dirt is not having the sort of catastrophic issues for people, because we've seen people slide sideways into the tyres there many times. Oh, well, Alan Brynjolfsson's managed to get the wrong way at that point of the circuit. That's the first time we've seen somebody actually facing the wrong direction there, but he still didn't hit anything because there's grip out there, which generally speaking, if there's even a little bit of dampness there, it isn't the case. And those tyre bundles at the top of the circuit there, on the south end of the circuit, they've seen quite a number of cars down through the years.
Yeah, I mean, that barrier up there has collected a lot of cars over the years, and hopefully it won't do any more this weekend. But he gets away with that one. Meanwhile, a good lap there for Mike Skeen, third fastest in GTD, at least he was when I started talking. He's just been nipped by Loris Spinelli up to third position in the Forte Racing powered by Electronics Lamborghini. So in GTD non-pro, there's 3 pro cars out front. Number 14, number 79, and number 3, covered by, well, almost 3 seconds as Hawksworth ahead of Juncadella in the Mercedes, then the Corvette of Antonio Garcia, less than a tenth behind him. And then less than a tenth behind him is Madison Snow, fastest of the GTD cars, and already into the pits with, we're inside the final minute, aren't we? Yikes. But Aaron Thielitz in second position, about a tenth of a second behind, and just 0.0 something back to Loris Spinelli, and a similar margin back to Mike Skeen in third and fourth. So BMW, Lexus, Lamborghini, Mercedes, BMW, Aston Martin, and are the top 6 cars in GTD, and all different makes.
Great comeback for the WeatherTech Racing Mercedes-AMG GT3 team after the Friday fire. We weren't really sure how it all came about. Looked like a fuel fire, had all the hallmarks of it, bit of fuel spilling down the right-hand side and catching something hot on the car as Danny Juncadella had come into the pits a few moments earlier, and the whole of the right side engulfed in flames, and he got out quickly. The fire was put out by the team and others around. That is that kind of spirit that you see in the pit lane, particularly when there's a fire. And the team had to work pretty hard to get some of the bodywork changed. That was more than a wee bit singed. A little bit of a melting on the bodywork, composite bodywork on a lot of these cars, and of course not glass windscreens either, so that had to be changed. So they had a pretty late night last night, and then the car was quickest in the final free practice session earlier on today, sitting second at the moment as far as the qualifying is concerned. But a front row start would have looked a very long way away yesterday afternoon when that car was being doused with extinguishant. Jack Hawksworth then by just on a tenth of a second. The checkered flag is out. If you're on the lap, you can keep it. If you've just started a lap, you can complete it. And Juncadella is out, having put in his best lap last time around with a 1:44.876, but he's not moving quickly. Here comes
he's got within a tenth of a second of Hawksworth.
That was last time around. Here comes the caught-off car, and Mike Skeen does not improve on his 45.4, 45.7 this time around. So it looks like the front two rows are set. Can't see anybody out there. Juncadella, I think, is coming into the pit lane. Antonio Garcia is as well. Just checking. Yeah, Juncadella in the pits. She's still showing us running, but I've got him stopped on the tracker. Maybe he has just popped into the pits. Yes, he has now. And also waiting for the number 70 to peel into the pit lane as well.
So third pole of the season then for Jack Hawksworth. He's on the pole also at Long Beach, where they went on to win, and at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, where they finished fourth for Jack Hawksworth. This is his 10th pole position. He also had four times when they had the pro and the non-pro in GTD a couple of years ago, which is awfully confusing. But 10 official poles for Jack Hawksworth. That'll move him into a tie with, well, it would have moved him into a tie with Madison Snow, but Snow keeps one ahead of him. This is number 11 for Madison Snow. The most poles, by the way, since the merger is 14. That would be Ricky Taylor. On 12 are James French, Jordan Taylor, and Ben Keating. And now Madison Snow next in line on 11. And behind him on 10 then is Jack Hawksworth. Nick Tandy has 9. Antonio Garcia has 9.
Let's head down to Shea Adam, who's at pit out. That's where the two pole sitters will be invited down. We're just clearing off the rest of the pit lane. Lexus, Mercedes, Chevrolet, BMW in the top four. That's 3 GTD Pros and a GTD. Jack Hawksworth still waiting for the sign. I've just realised he's got a nice script JH on the side of his green and black helmet. That would be handy. I could use that. Shea Adam down and pit out. Any sign of the two pole sitters for the Michelin GT Challenge coming down towards you?
Yeah, we've got both of the cars here. Neither of the drivers have gotten out yet. Madison had a little bit of issue trying to knock the car into gear so that the BMW would stop rolling, and it is still rolling. He has to sit here with his foot on the brake because it will not go into gear, which is a little bit amusing. But we have Jack Hawksworth a bit further back up too, and he is not yet out of his car. So since Madison is out first, we'll have a chat with him. As he's gotten out of the car, we'll wait for him to get his helmet off.
The second BMW that tried to... Sorry, Shea, second BMW that tried to roll away, because we had that earlier on in the weekend. Rick Dole doing the pictures.
Oh, well remembered.
One of the Turner cars, wasn't it? In the Michelin Pilot Challenge. All right, Madison gets the pole sitter's hat, puts his equipment back into the car. We'll hand back to Shea.
We're going to have to wait just a couple of minutes for Madison in the TV interview, so let's see if Jack has gotten out of his car yet. There he goes, pops out. Good man, Jack Hawksworth, the second pole position at VIR. First one came in 2018, and that was in a mixed weather session, if memory serves correctly. Celebrates with his team, taps the car, as well he should. Now, before this session even began, Jack Hawksworth and Ben Barnicat had gotten more points out of qualifying than any other team in the GTD Pro class. They've extended that accomplishment. Jack's second pole here at VIR, still looking for that first win, but this is the best place to start, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Can't get better than pole, right? So that was good. Hot out there, you can probably see, but yeah, mega weekend so far. It's been brilliant, and boys have been fantastic. Car's been working really well, so just heads down for tomorrow now, but yeah, very happy with it.
The goal for this weekend is max points. You have accomplished the first step in that. Congrats on another pole.
Yeah, we ain't here to point this thing out. We want to win these races and try and make a statement. So that's what we're here to do.
Well done.
And he
See
has
if I can walk down to
done that,
Madison,
Shea.
if you'll leave it with me for a sec. And as now the sticker part of things is kicked off for Madison. He knows how to do the pole celebrations. He's done this a couple of times before. As Jeremy said, his 11th pole in his career in WeatherTech. And this is actually kind of cool because he's the first repeat pole sitter in the GTD class. So, Madison, I know they gave you a sticker. I'll let you throw it on the car, haphazardly, as he does, doing the pole award song and dance. There we go. Madison, another pole. You're the first repeat pole winner in 2023 and max points. This BMW is pretty good around VIR.
It's definitely doing really good right now. I mean, man, it's hot out there. And so turn the AC off, turn all the fans off in qualifying, get everything that you can. So tomorrow should be a little bit cooler inside the car, I hope.
How important is it to get pole considering that it could be raining for the race?
It's always important to be up front. Rain races usually have more incidences. The start could be a little hectic, and so hopefully if you're out front, you're out of any mayhem that could happen.
This was the site of your first pole and your first win with Brian and Paul Miller Racing, so does it feel a little bit full circle given what's coming next year?
It's always cool to do something you've done before.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Shea Adam with our two pole sitters. Congratulations to Jack Hawksworth for Vassar Sullivan Lexus. And for BMW, Paul Miller Racing, Madison Snow. Madison, in fairness, has just been really, really good again this weekend. We've seen this when he gets the bit between his teeth, which is quite often, to be honest, Jeremy. He is the lesser experienced of the two drivers in terms of his driver rating. He drives very well. He's not a full-time pro driver. He has a day job. He works in IT. And you know, he gets that kind of attitude and that look in his eye, and he looked pretty confident and fairly laid back there. This could be another really good weekend for Paul Miller Racing.
You're well, absolutely right. I mean, 4 wins already on the season. Qualified on pole last time out on Road America. Oh, and went on to win the race. He's also started on the second on the grid at CTMP earlier in the year, and another couple of second row starting positions as well. So he's been on really good form in qualifying. Last time out, as I say, they converted into a victory, and they would love nothing more than to do the same again tomorrow. But it's going to be a tough fight, but you're certainly starting from the correct position. And Shea talked about the fact there that Jack Hawksworth and Ben Barnicat, they've scored more qualifying points than anybody else in GTD Pro. Ross Gunn and Alex Ribeiro came close with their second 2 consecutive poles last 2 races, got within 2 of the pole points that are ordered during the season, but Hawksworth put a bit of daylight between themselves again with that pole today.
So it'll be Lexus, Mercedes, Vassar Sullivan and WeatherTech on the front row, followed by Corvette and BMW, and then the second Vassar Sullivan car, then the Lamborghini, then Court of Mercedes, and the top 10 made up by Turner Motorsports, BMW, Heart of Racing Teams, Aston Martin, and Patrick Pele for Pfaff, a little further back than that GTD Pro team would like, but they have still got Heart of Racing's Pro car behind them, and that is the way they will line up. We do not put the pros to the front after qualifying. in the race, depending on if we get a safety car and need wave buys. That's a different thing. But it will line up 3 GTD Pros, 6 GTDs, and then another 2 GTD Pros on the grid for tomorrow's main race. Shea Adam was asking the questions and congratulating our pole sitters. Jeremy Shaw was with me, John Hindhaugh. Don't go too far away. We round up Super Saturday and wind it up in style with a 2-hour contest for the Michelin Pilot Challenge.